Hello YouTubers, my name is Attila Mate from Blue Sky Photography, and today I would like to talk to you about a topic which is very interesting in my opinion, and maybe it will be helpful to some of you out there. Now this topic would be, which is the best 4K camera in 2018, the best and cheapest 4K camera. Now I have to emphasize over here that I'm talking about these cameras in 400 euro or 450 euro price range, you know, something like that. Now why I decided about these cameras, these two cameras, there is multiple reasons why I choose these two cameras, and I will tell you in a minute. So let's see, these two cameras is, one of the cameras is the Panasonic FZ330 or 300 or whatever. It's Panasonic has this weird habit, you know, that these cameras, they call it in United States 330 and in Europe is 300 or backward or whatever. I'm confused, I don't know. Anyway, one of them, 300 or 330. So this is the first camera of my choice, and the second is the Panasonic G7. Now I don't own the G7, but I shoot with this G7 many times, and I tell you that it is an excellent interchangeable lens camera. Now why I choose this is a bridge camera, obviously, and I own the Panasonic FZ200, the 2500, or not 200, sorry. I told you I'm confused with these numbers. So Panasonic FZ2500 or 2000 in Europe. So that is also a bridge camera, a 1-inch sensor. This camera is a 1/2.3-inch sensor, which is a small sensor, you know, a very small sensor, but in the same time we are talking about video over here, 4K video. We are not talking about photography. If we speak about photography, I would choose the Sony a6000 or the Sony a5100 much quicker than the G7 or this one. We are talking about video over here, 4K video. Now, why, in my opinion, this is a great camera? I made a video about this camera, the FZ300, and you can see that I will post a card up here so you can see that card. And in that video I speak about the image quality of this camera, which is a 12 megapixel camera. And it's, like I said, a small sensor and 12 megapixel, but in the same time it is very, very capable in video, in 4K video. Now this camera is a 25 to 600 zoom range. Now I would not suggest you to use that 600 zoom range, because even in photos or even in video, you know, the lens is not really sharp, you know, then, and it's well, it's good enough, it's acceptable, but it's not as good as the example the G7 or some other cameras, you know. Well, I would use about until 200, 300 millimeter, it's great, no problem at all. Now if you want some good photos, you can use it also, but not excellent ones. But anyway, I told you for photography this is not really the best choice. So 25 to 600 millimeter, but the most important is f2.8 throughout the whole zoom range. Now that is something really good, and I tell you something, this f2.8 compensates the sensor size a little bit, that the sensor is a little bit smaller. It is really good that in 4K video you have the shutter speed lower, you know, and even if the aperture, you know, is not as wide open, you know, like it's, let's say 3.5 or something, that lower shutter speed, you know, will compensate a little bit, and that's why you can make a nicer video than a photo, you know. If you have the example f2.8 1/50th of a second, you know, ISO 100 in video, that looks great, but if you have the same settings in photo, that doesn't really look great, you know, because you cannot go to 1/50th of a second in because it will be motion blur or whatever. So why this one and not some others? Because this is only 350 euro. You can find this 350 euro in some situations, you know, in China or from grey market. Now if you want to buy it from official store, it will be 500 euro or 450 or something like that. Like I said, this 450 euro price range for this camera, it is excellent. Now the G7, that is an interchangeable lens camera, and the camera itself, it's like 400 euro, but you have to buy a kit lens and you have to buy some other lenses. I saw recently in Germany an offer where you could buy the G7 with the kit lens for 470 euro, something like that. Now obviously that kit lens is a variable aperture lens. It's a 3.5 to 5.6 lens, but in the same time the sensor is bigger in the G7, which is a micro four thirds sensor, and that will compensate a little bit. Now again, the lens has image stabilization, that kit lens, and it is absolutely good. You know, don't say that it's the best lens, and if you want good lenses you have to invest some more money with the G7. And that's the reason why I say that this is firstly the best camera, because for that 500 euro, 400 euro price tag, this camera you will get with the lens altogether. You don't have to invest anything extra. Now, will that be as good as the G7? No. Will that do the job? Definitely yes. So especially if you are in a controlled environment like I am now at the moment and doing YouTube videos, or if you are outside doing vlogging, you know, this camera will be excellent. It has the flip out screen, you know, it has a 2.8 aperture. When you zoom in, zoom out, the aperture will not change, your exposure will not change. It has a microphone jack over here. You can plug in your mic, you can put your mic up here, the Rode Video mic or whatever shotgun mic you put up here, you can plug in, and at the same time you can turn your screen. It's not in the way of the screen, and that is excellent. I tell you something, the autofocus on this camera, it is good. It's good enough for any vlogging or any video what you want to do, you know, walking around or something. I did that, never failed, no problem. Now, again, this camera has a little bit of that Panasonic issue, you know, which has this wobbling when it's focusing, you know, it goes out a little bit and back, out and back, but it is so small that you can't really see that. So it's not a big issue in my opinion. Now, if we compared it with the G7 has no image stabilization. It is in the lens. Now this one has in-body image stabilization, which in video it is excellent. It doesn't work for 5 axis or whatever. It works only on 2 axes, this way and this way and this way, if I'm not wrong. It doesn't work panning. Yeah, but in the same time, in 4K video, you know, I would say that it's more than enough. Especially when you are talking about 25mm, when you are talking vlogging style. If you do like that at 25mm, it will be more than enough. My footage, what I did with this camera, it was excellent, you know, no problem. So, I hope that this video was helpful to you guys. I hope that you liked it. If you liked it, please like and subscribe and share my videos. In my opinion, this camera is really, really good for the price point, what you get and what you pay for. I think that if you want to start your own channel, or if you want for your family, you know, to have a nice 4K camera, there you go, this is the way to go. I think that if you want the G7, you will have to pay more because you will have to invest in lenses. But in the same time, the G7 is one of the best 4K cameras, even in 2018. So if you think that you have a better idea, feel free and leave a comment down below. I will consider it, and I will also, look, I'm just a human being, so I can make mistakes, you know, I don't know everything, so you might have a better idea, but in my opinion and in my experience, this is the best camera, and after that the G7 in 2018, until Photokina, where we can see some newer innovations and maybe some price drops in the older cameras. Now, as I said, if you would like to support this channel, please feel free and give me a thumbs up and share my videos, subscribe to my channel if you didn't until now. Other than that, I wish you a great day and I'll see you in the next one. Take care, guys.